Okay, let's take a look at a couple commitment and contingency questions. So at December 31st, Lawton and Border is involved in a lawsuit. Under existing standards in IAS 37, prepare the December entry assuming it is probable and very likely that L&B will be liable for $700,000. Prepare the December entry assuming it is probable although not likely, then L&B will be liable for a payment. And would your answer change if it was not probable? And then it asks us to repeat the question, assuming that L&B follows ASPE. And the reason we know we're in IFRS here is because it says IAS 37. So a little bit of a tricky one there. So let's just recap the criteria to recognize any sort of a contingent loss or a provision for an uncertain event under IFRS or ASPE. So ASPE requires it to be likely that there's a loss. And IFRS requires it to be more likely than not. So say 51%, arguably. Okay, so in this first instance, it says that it is probable and very likely. So we know it's probable, which is this one, and very likely. So under A, we're going to need to record a provision for the $700,000, which we're going to put debit litigation expense. So it goes through our income statement. So we're actually accruing the amount, and credit litigation liability. Okay, now let's see B. It says prepare the entry assuming it is probable but not likely. So this is for IFRS and ASPE. This one would be the same. Let's just do them at the same time so we don't have to go back here. So B, we've got probable but not likely. So let's put IFRS here and let's put ASPE here. So it's probable, which means this one is really about probable, but it's not likely. So under ASPE, we're going to have no entry. It's not likely. But under IFRS, because it's probable, then we're going to have the same entry up here, debit litigation expense, credit litigation liability. It's going to be this 700,000. Okay, and then C says, how would your answer change if it was not probable that L&B would be likely? So in this case, it's not probable and not likely. So then we would record IFRS, ASPE. So it's not probable and it's not likely, then there would be no entry. Hopefully that makes sense in terms of how we account for uncertainties, especially in things like lawsuits.